Hey, what's up, everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here once again, doing another discography countdown for you. And today we are going to be talking about Impaled. If you haven't heard these guys before, they play like a combination of death and gore grind or gore metal. They're from Oakland. They're very similar to a band like Exhumed or older Carcass. Speaking of Exhumed, some of the members from Impaled actually have played with Exhumed over the years as well. And most of the guys in Impaled also play in a band called Ghoul, who's more in like the death metal slash thrash crossover style. But yeah, Impaled, just really all their themes are around like medical procedures, very gory stuff, very humorous as well. They are very funny, a lot of tongue-in-cheek titles. Think like old Carcass, Exhumed. Of course, those similarities are going to pop up because the sound is very similar. Maybe they are not the most original sounding band, but they execute their music very well. It's just really fun stuff. I enjoy all of their releases. They do only have 4 full lengths, so this isn't going to be the longest discography ranking ever. I usually don't do discography rankings of bands that only have 4 or fewer albums, but I felt like talking about Impaled because I haven't really talked about them on this channel at all, and if you haven't heard of them, I think you should because it's just really fun death metal. They do have a few EPs as well, but I won't be including those. Technically, this band is still active. I don't know if they're going to be putting anything new out. There is also... you could consider it 5 full lengths, but their last one was just a re-recording of their debut, so I'm not really going to include that because it's the exact same album, just updated. I don't always see the need for that, but they also didn't like the production on the first one, so wanted to redo it. But when I do my ranking, I'm just going to be talking about the original. This band really like combines the low guttural vocals with some higher pitched and even like mid-pitched like rasps and snarls, and it just really works well. Really great musicians in this band, even though it's the more like gore grind style. There's still like great technicality here with some of the solos, and they really know how to write some catchy tunes as well. You'll even find yourself singing along to these hilarious lyrics. But yeah, definitely a band you need to check out if you haven't. Another thing, Impaled is actually an acronym for the band. It actually stands for Immoral Medical Practitioners and Licentious Evil Doers. So yeah, there you go. It kind of, yeah, like I said, everything's around medical procedures, kind of like from the point of view of doctors in a lot of songs, but very funny stuff. But let's just get into this. Coming in last place, in 4th, my least favorite Impaled album, but while I say that, I do also want to say that I do still enjoy this album. They only have 4 albums. I don't think any of them are bad, but something has to come last, and it's only because I like the other ones better. So coming in last is actually their most recent album, which is from 2007, titled The Last Gasp. So this one actually has a lot more like thrash inspiration here. The thrash influences, probably from their time playing in Ghoul, that kind of brought some of that into Impaled. And there's even some like punk influenced, grind influences. So there's a lot more variation in the songwriting on this album. Even like some gang choirs in some spots too. But the only reason I'm putting this last is I just don't think it's quite as consistent quality-wise as some of their albums. There's a lot of really killer, catchy songs, but then there's some that don't quite stand up to the rest. But it's still a very enjoyable, very fun death metal album. Definitely still worth listening to. I'm not hating on this. It's just last because I like the other ones a little bit more. Favorite tracks on here would be Up the Dose. Masters of Ordure is very fucking catchy. So anyways, yeah, that one's in last place, but let's move it on to even better stuff. So up next, in 3rd place, I'm going with their debut, which is from the year 2000, The Dead Shall Dead Remain. So this is the album that they did re-record in 2013. The re-recorded version they called The Dead Still Dead Remain. But yeah, I'm not going to be talking about the re-recorded version, just the actual original debut. And this, if this is the first album, you go listen to them, buy them, you'll think, wow, this sounds a lot like Carcass, specifically like Symphonies of Sickness era. Clearly that's their main inspiration, it's their main influence. They wear that on their sleeve, they're not hiding it. I don't want to say they're a pure copycat, they do their own thing within that sound, but that's clearly the vibe and sound that they're going for from everything. The lyrics, the album art, the whole concept of it, the riffing style, everything is very dedicated to that era of Carcass. But I love that era of Carcass, so I have no problem with that at all. The only knock on this album, and probably why they re-recorded it, is because the production is a bit rougher than their subsequent releases, but you can still hear everything. This isn't like Reek of Putrefaction, Carcass era bad production. It's still better than that. You can hear all the riffs, and the riffs are great too. That's like really another good example of a very fun death metal album. My favorite tracks on here: Trocar, Feces of Death, another very tongue-in-cheek funny title. So all in all, very enjoyable, solid album. Coming in third just because I like the other two better. So coming in second, my second favorite Impaled album is their third album, which is from 2005, titled Death After Life. So this one is actually a concept album taken from the point of view as all the band members are four doctors that are trying to achieve death after life. So there's all these like little quotes interspersed throughout the songs, very similar to Carcass, once again doing that kind of thing. This one's more in the vein of, say, like Heartwork era Carcass, a little more technicality to the riffs. I think the production quality on here, it's definitely better than the debut, but it is not quite on par with the album, their second album, which I haven't talked about yet. So that's obviously what's going to be coming in number one. I'll talk about that one after. But this one did take a small dip from the second album production-wise. But songwriting is still great. The musicianship is really on display here. The solos are awesome. It's just a fun, gory, humorous album. Just a great slab of gory death metal. Absolutely stellar stuff. Best songs on here: Gutless, The Resurrectionists, The Dead Shall Dead Remain. Just all in all, really solid stuff. But that just leaves one. For me, this was a very clear, easy choice. Easily, hands down, my favorite Impaled record. And if you've never heard them before and want to see what they're all about, just go listen to this record, at least as your introduction to the band. If you just listen to the debut, it might not blow you away. But this album, if you don't like it, you're not going to like the band, more than likely. But yeah, it's just awesome. And this is, of course, their second album, which is from 2002, titled Mondo Medical. So this one, the production is vastly improved over the debut, and actually I think it's way better than their third and fourth albums as well. They just really hit the mark on this one. This actually features a 3-vocalist attack, which is awesome. One of them doing the really low gutturals, one doing the high-pitched, and then one more mid-pitched. But it's just awesome with all 3 vocalists going at the same time. It's full of great riffs, catchy melodies too. Like, I don't want to underscore this by saying it's just like gory metal. There's a ton of underlying melody here that's really catchy, great guitar playing. The solos are absolutely amazing, and so many of these songs are so catchy that you will not be able to help but sing along, at least to the choruses anyways. Like, these will stick in your head. Musicianship was definitely dialed up from the debut to this one. And yeah, so many killer songs front to back. Absolutely amazing album. My favorite ones are probably Raise the Stakes, Operating Theater, We Belong Dead, but really every fucking song on here you're going to be singing along to. It's that catchy of an album. So goddamn amazing. So if you have not heard Impaled before, please do yourself a favor and go at least check out Mondo Medical, but really listen to all 4 albums as well. So anyways, these are just my opinions as usual. Love to get yours down below. What do you think of Impaled? What's your favorite album by them? And yeah, until next time, give me a like and give me a subscribe. Hammerheart Metal Reviews. Ow!